Alright, let me take you into something that's been boiling under the surface in the NFL. Something that started off as a tiny whisper and has now grown into a full-blown roar. And the epicenter of it all? Cleveland, Ohio? I'm not exaggerating. When I say this, we might be witnessing the start of something big, something wild, something that no one saw coming, and yet here it is, right in our faces. Now, if you're like me, you've probably heard the chatter. Maybe you caught a little buzz on Twitter. Maybe you heard a segment on local radio. Or maybe you stumbled across some leaked minicamp footage and thought, wait, whoa, what did I just watch? But the point is, you felt it. There's a shift happening, and it's got everything to do with one name, Shedeur Sanders. Yeah, I said it, the rookie, the 5th-round pick, Deion Sanders' son. The same guy that everybody assumed would quietly ride the bench for a year or two. Learn the system, keep his head down, and maybe someday compete for a backup. Roll! That was the script. That's what the experts predicted. That's what the depth chart said. But Shedeur, he clearly didn't get the memo, because what he's doing right now in Browns camp, it's rewriting the entire narrative. And I want you to understand how wild this really is. We're not just talking about a rookie looking sharp in shorts. We're talking about a guy who walked into one of the most crowded quarterback rooms in the NFL with names like Kenny Pickett, Joe Flacco, and Dillon Gabriel already there, and has somehow become the main character of the entire offseason. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Let's rewind a bit. Let's go back to the day Shedeur was drafted, 5th round. A late pick by quarterback standards. Everyone thought, okay, maybe a developmental guy, probably a camp arm, practice squad stash. Maybe he gets a shot down the road if everything breaks right. You know how that goes. That's the life of a day 3 quarterback. It's a tough climb, but here's the thing. Shedeur didn't come in acting like a day 3 pick. From the moment he walked in the building, there was a different kind of presence, a different kind of focus. And that's not just me hyping him up. That's coming from inside the building. I've been reaching out. I've been listening. I've been connecting dots. And what I'm hearing over and over again is that Shedeur is doing things that rookies just don't do. One assistant coach straight up said he picks up the playbook faster than any rookie I've ever coached, period. Another said he sees it on the whiteboard, walks through it once, then runs it in live reps like he's been doing it since Pop Warner. That level of mental processing, that's unheard of, especially for a rookie, especially for a 5th-round pick. That's the kind of stuff that gets coaches' attention fast, because raw talent is easy to find. But guys who could take a play from install to execution with that kind of speed, that's special. That's rare. That's how you jump a depth chart. And speaking of depth charts, let's talk about what actually went down during minicamp, because this is the moment everything started to change. It was a full speed, high stakes, move the ball drill, the kind of thing where every single rep matters. There's no room for mistakes. There's no time for indecision. Usually, this is where you see the top 2 quarterbacks battle it out, while the rookies stand back and learn. But this time, Shedeur stepped in, ahead of Dillon Gabriel. Just like that. No announcement, no heads up. It wasn't a publicity stunt. It wasn't a one-off gimmick. It was a deliberate move by the coaching staff to see what this kid could do. Under pressure, and let me tell you, he delivered. Not only did he look comfortable, he looked commanding. He walked into the huddle like it was his team, and then he started dealing, I'm talking ropes across the middle. Perfect timing on dig routes, anticipation throws into tight windows. It wasn't dink and dunk checkdowns either. He was pushing the ball, challenging the defense, leading the offense like a seasoned vet. One coach said, and I quote, "This wasn't a fluke. This was a statement, and they meant it." Because it wasn't just 1 or 2 nice throws, it was the entire drive. Every decision, every read, every audible. He looked like he belonged. Let's not forget who we're talking about here. This is the same Shedeur Sanders who was sacked over 90 times in 2 years at Colorado today, and still managed to complete over 71% of his passes for his career. 74% just last year. You realize how insane that is? Most quarterbacks under that kind of pressure fold, their accuracy drops. Their mechanics fall apart. But not Shedeur. He stood in the fire week after week and still delivered. That tells you everything you need to know about this kid's toughness, poise, and ability to process chaos. And now that he's finally behind an NFL offensive line with NFL talent around him, yeah, he's cooking. And everybody's starting to notice. I've been watching every single clip I can find. Every leaked video, every sideline angle, and the thing that keeps jumping out is the precision. These aren't fluky completions. These are NFL throws, sideline fades, touch passes over linebackers, Dart throws on crossing routes, red zone lasers into traffic. It's all there. And I'm not the only one seeing it. Reporters at camp are saying they're seeing fewer mistakes from Shedder than anyone else in that room. And let's be honest, this QB room, it's up for grabs. I mean, no disrespect to Pickett or Flacco, but neither one of those guys has locked this thing down. There's no franchise quarterback sitting on this roster. There's no Mahomes, no Allen, no Lamar Jackson. The door is wide open and Shedder is walking through it now before people start yelling slow down. I hear you. I get it. We're still early in the process. Pads haven't come on yet. We haven't even hit preseason games. But folks, you don't have to wait for the season to spot something special. When a guy walks into a pro locker room and makes this much noise this early, that's not something you ignore. That's not hype. That's heat, and the front office knows it. The coaching staff knows it. And you better believe the other quarterbacks in that room are feeling it, because this isn't just about talent. This is about leadership, swagger, intelligence, poise. It's about Shedder Sanders walking into the NFL with pressure on his back and cameras in his face and responding with calm, cool execution. So what does it all mean? Got a legit quarterback battle in Cleveland? And the rookie that nobody was talking about a month ago? He might just be the guy who takes over this franchise. And I'm going to be watching every snap, every rep, every throw. Because if this keeps going the way it's going, we might be looking at one of the biggest draft steals in recent NFL history. So please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. I want to talk about what it really means if Kenny Pickett ends up being the Week 1 starter. And I don't. Means surface level. I'm talking about what it signals about Kevin Stefanski, about the front office, about the direction of this team. Because here's the deal. If Kevin Stefanski goes with Pickett, it tells me loud and clear that Stefanski believes his job is on the line right now. That he's coaching like every loss could be his last. That it's win or walk. And yeah, Pickett isn't flashy. He's not going to light the league on fire. But he's safe. He's experienced. He knows how to manage a game. And that's the kind of guy a coach turns to when the heat's turned up and he's feeling the pressure from upstairs or from the fans or from both. Now, if he turns to Shedder Sanders instead, that's a totally different message. That says we've got a little time here. We can build something. We don't need to panic. Stefanski starts Shedder, it tells me the front office, maybe even ownership, is giving him a little leeway. A young QB, not just survive week to week. And let me tell you, I heard something a while ago from someone I really trust, someone in the building. This was before all this buzz started. I was told that either Kenny Pickett or Dillon Gabriel was going to start. That was the expectation. Joe Flacco and Shedder Sanders, they were both penciled in to be QB3, maybe QB2 at best. Just background guys in Shedder, he was supposed to sit and learn. They weren't planning on this becoming a real quarterback competition, but now that whole plan is falling apart. Because what Shedder Sanders is doing at camp, it's flipping the entire depth chart upside down, and more importantly, it's flipping the locker room. Because right now, players are rallying around this kid. I'm not just talking about a few guys whispering in the back. I'm talking about leaders, veterans, guys who've been through wars in this league. You've got all-pro defensive end Myles Garrett, one of the most respected voices in the second building, saying Shedder shows up with a smile every day and brings an energy that makes people want to work with him. That's not just lip service. That's not fluff. That's a leader putting his weight behind a rookie. Yeah, that's saying, this guy's got something. That's how locker room shifts start. And then the bomb dropped. The Browns coaching staff gave Shedder first-team reps, not for a gimmick, not as a media stunt. This was a real official decision. They're giving him a legitimate shot. They want to see if this kid, this rookie who was barely on anyone's radar a month ago, can actually win the starting job. And guess what? It's starting to look like he might. Now I'm just saying, if I were Kevin Stefanski, right? Now the only way I'd consider starting Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett this year is if we were in absolute disaster mode. Like, the offense is falling apart, and we need a Band-Aid kind of disaster. Because here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say too loudly. If you're Kevin Stefanski or Andrew Berry, then the season goes south with Pickett or Gabriel under center, you're probably getting fired. That's just the business, and behind the scenes, it's even messier than we thought. The original plan, and again this came from insiders, was to bring Sanders along slowly, just let him develop in the background. They thought he'd be a QB3 project. Someone with upside, sure, but not someone they had to think about seriously. For at least a year or two, then the tape came in, and once the coaches sat down and watched his reps in camp, everything changed. I'm talking about precision, timing, anticipation, every throw, every snap, every read. It was all clicking. It forced people in that building to stop and say, wait a second, we thought we could hide this kid for a year. But now we're wondering if we have to start him. And that puts Stefanski in the ultimate catch-22. If he sticks with Pickett or Gabriel and they drop a few games early, you better believe fans are going to be screaming for Shetter by week 3. But if he starts Shetter now and the kid looks overwhelmed, then the front office might say, "You made the call too early. That's on you. It's a razor-thin margin." Stefanski's on a tight leash. One source even told me that if Pickett starts week 1, it means Stefanski's already coaching for his career. But if Shetter starts, that means ownership and the GM are giving him time to build, time to shape the next phase of this franchise, and you can feel the shift. You can feel it inside that QB room. I've heard from people who say Pickett's frustrated. Behind the scenes, he's not thrilled. He thought this was going to be his second chance, a clean slate. Flacco's being the veteran, handling it professionally, but he knows what's happening, and Dillon Gabriel? He was supposed to be the sleeper, the guy they quietly believed in. Now he's watching a rookie steal the spotlight. One staffer said it plain and simple. The tension is real. The entire room is holding its breath, waiting for Stefanski to make a decision. But at this point, this is bigger than one decision. This is about momentum. Shetter Sanders has all of it. He's not just winning on the field. He's owning the meeting rooms. He's bringing the energy in the locker room. And even the media is starting to wake up. James Jones just went on air and said it. Shetter is the Browns' best option right now, not someday, and not down the road. Right now, and get this, there's even some speculation that the staff only drafted Dillon Gabriel where they did because they were trying to stop the owner from reaching for Shetter earlier. I heard they took Gabriel 2 rounds earlier than they really wanted to, just to block an impulsive move. But now, that strategy has blown up in their face because the guy they were trying to stash might be the guy who saves their season. So let me just ask the question that everybody in Cleveland is quietly thinking. Even if they're not saying it out loud just yet, is Shetter Sanders already the best quarterback on the team? Because if the answer is yes, and based on what I'm hearing, the answer might be yes, then how much longer can you afford to keep him on the sideline? How long before the pressure becomes too much to ignore? Because if the takeover is already in motion, and man, it feels like it is, then this isn't just about winning a starting job. This might be the start of a new era for the Cleveland Browns. Shetter Sanders didn't ask for this spotlight, but he's earned it. And unless something dramatic happens, the Browns may have just stumbled into their next franchise quarterback. Completely by accident, and let me tell you something. This story is nowhere near over. It's just getting started, so stay tuned, because the next few weeks, they could change everything. Thanks for watching, and see you next one.